this is Chrissy. Welcome back to Website Success. Today I have a new friend here joining me. Her name is Jen Whitlock, and she is the owner of Wonderwall Backdrops. Jen, welcome to the show.
Hello, Chrissy. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be joining you and to share whatever wisdom I have.
Awesome. Yes. And so I asked Jen on here. She volunteered because she did everything herself. And I would love to get some insight because I know a lot of the folks that are listening to this podcast are trying to DIY their websites. They're doing everything and it's a lot. So I just sort of wanted her to walk through the process of how she got her website up and running. So Jen, if you could start, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Absolutely. I'm Jen Whitlock. My company is Wonderwall Backdrops. We are really an event decor business. We specialize in custom made or semi-custom backdrops and balloon decor. So, people are having birthday parties or graduation parties, wedding receptions, things like that. We're the people who can come in and you say like DIY. We're trying to help those people out there get out of the DIY space because it's painful and stressful and what have you, but trying to do it in a way that doesn't, break the bank for somebody who wants to bring somebody in and then actually be able to enjoy their event. So I officially started my business about 18 months ago. And yes, I am the person who it's like, do as I say, not as I do. And I'm the person who, as the business owner, put together all the stuff, all the website and what have you. So yeah, I'm happy to be an open book and hopefully help your listeners in that regard.
Awesome. Thank you. And can you tell me what you are currently using for your website?
Yes, I am utilizing Squarespace 7.1, if that means anything to anyone, but that's kind of the version that it's run on. And actually, last night I just hit go on a total refresh, like a
Okay.
total, like went through and redid everything. Um, and it was at the point where I felt really good about it. And I was like, awesome, this is great. I hit go and I pulled this there and I did that. And I was like, hit refresh on all of my, my phone and my computer. And I was like, well, hot diggity dog, it didn't refresh. so I got it there. But again, it's, for me, and I have a really strong background in marketing and event planning and event management and branding and what have you, but it's where do you kind of like really define your area of expertise? And guess what? Website development is not my super strong area of expertise, but as a business owner, as a small business owner, and trying to drive revenue and be mindful of things, that was the thing that I did. So anyway.
Okay. And how long ago did you originally launch your first Squarespace website?
So I originally launched it, I'd say back in August of 23,
Okay.
and it looked vastly different than it does now. It looked different than it did 2 days ago, and it's very much the like you think you know a little bit, and you can be savvy in some things online, but it's as they say, and it's a mixed metaphor, it's a whole nother world. It just is. So I've probably gone through like 2 full refreshes because I feel very strongly that as a business owner, you should have your brick and mortar. If you don't have a brick and mortar, is your website. And, right now we are currently in this like gray area as to whether or not things like a TikTok are going away. And to have all of your work on social media and not having an online presence is not a best practice I would recommend. So that's why I think that having a good website, or at least something, really legitimizes yourself. And a lot of the work that we do is, corporate events or working with educational facilities. And they want to see that you exist and that you
Right.
aren't just existing on a social media platform. So
Mhm.
I've always had it since I kind of opened my doors, and then have, like I said, gone through and done kind of like two big old refreshes.
Okay. And why did you choose Squarespace?
Um, I chose Squarespace because it seemed to me, I kind of vetted it with, my colleagues and friends, and asked those who are currently like in the web design world, like out of these, out of Squarespace or Wix or WordPress, um, which one is the kind of, they were all like, no, you need to develop it like in a native way. Like you need to actually have it programmed to be you. But they said out of the ones that were available, kind of like, COTS, common off the shelf solutions, that one was the best one for usability for me, and then navigation and such for my intended target audience.
Mhm. Okay.
So,
Okay.
yes.
And can you walk us a little bit through the process and the path that you took to get your first website up and running?
Sure, sure. So, with Squarespace, and I imagine that this is very much from what I remember in terms of investigating the other platforms that I could have gone with, it's looking at the templates and starting there. That's what made it, I guess, palatable and easier for me than just like I don't even know what I want. And so, starting there and looking at like what kind of speaks to me. And so it very much is identifying like who you are as a company and what your um I don't want to say vibe is, but really like if you're, depending upon your industry and depending upon your niche and who you're like super targeting, um, in my industry, in the balloon and the backdrop industry, a lot of people, and this is totally fine. They just want to have, the pale colors and the like, confetti or what have you. And me, my jam has always been a little more. I don't want to say it's fun or whatever, but I'm lean into bold and funky a little bit. And
Mhm.
so I found a template that I liked and I started there. And then you start leaning into, if you're smart, you lean into what your brand colors are and your font, and you start to try to pull things through from your image, from your kind of go to market strategy, and make certain that that's replicated in your website. So, what is your tagline or your slogan? What is your value proposition? You want to pull all that through in the things that you do on your website. And then you just kind of start to tweak it. And you can on Squarespace, you pick like I hate quotes, but you pick a font pack. You kind of pick a theme, like what do your buttons look like, and this and that and the other. And yes, you can go in and customize, based on your hex code, or you can pull in a new font. You can, you upload your images, or you can search from other, stock images and things like that. So that's really how I started it.
Mhm.
And I think even at that point, I had my first iteration of my logo, which I've, kind of gotten rid of. So it's really starting with a template, and then, you add sections, you add pages, you make certain that it's covering everything. And hopefully you're building it in a way that's smart, and you are incorporating your keywords and being mindful of SEO
Mhm.
in a really smart way. So that's how that happened.
Okay. And for anybody that's curious, the website is wonderwallbackdrops.com, and it is definitely bold. The current version definitely bold. There's disco balls on the hero area. So yeah, it's definitely it reaches out and smacks you in the face.
Well, thank you. I think that's
In a good way, in a
that's
good way. Yeah.
honestly, it's so funny because I built that disco ball wall by hand, disco ball by disco ball, and
Oh, no.
it's funny because the story is, and it's true, is that years ago I started collecting disco balls. I literally have them all over my studio, but I just love them. It's just something that has always been one of my things, and when I built that, I built it with a tutorial from a really great friend who's out in California. But anyway, it's like, it's not for me. And it's funny because I take a look at what's trending and what's here and what's now, and what's coming and whatever. And the disco ball trend, it's never been a trend for me. It's been a way of life. So that's why I have it there. So
Yes,
yeah.
it looks great. It looks
Thank you.
it's
Thank
yeah, great. It's got a great personality.
thank you.
It definitely comes through. So, yeah. So again, wonderwallbackdrops.com. Take a look at it. And I have a quick question because you mentioned search engine optimization. You're a local business, so you're
Yes.
based in Anne Arundel County,
Yeah.
the Baltimore area.
Yes.
Do you have a Google business profile as well?
I do.
Okay,
I most definitely do. But I am going to say this with as much like self-respect as I can, as well as, my here's my thing is that yes, I do have that. And yes, I am working on my SEO. It is not where it needs to be. It's just not. Like, it needs to be. But then I look at my list of all the 74 things that need to be done. And it's important because it's like chicken and the egg, right?
right,
Dedicate the time to your SEO and your SEO will work for you. And
right.
I need to do that. So, yes.
You are preaching to the choir here. And
Yeah,
for any of you that have been listening for a little while, I've got lots of stuff on SEO, and I actually am working on a membership. It's in. Sorry, my dog is saying
oh, I
hi,
love
but
it. Hi, puppy.
he's whining. But it's search the sorry SEO Success Club, and it is in founding member status right now. So it's got the very inexpensive pricing, but
That's awesome.
the courses and the resources in there walk you through the basics of SEO, and we have SEO Q&As and SEO office hours and all kinds of support for that.
That's amazing.
And one of the things that's coming up, I think this podcast will be released before this event coming up, but January 27th, I've got a local SEO lab coming up that is great for anybody that's got a Google business profile or needs a Google business profile to show you how to do your local SEO and all of the stuff that's underneath of that. There's a lot to it, but walking everybody through all of that. So
Making a note.
um,
Okay.
yeah, you might want to sign up for it too.
No, I'm making a note. I'm making a note right here.
January 27th. And
Right.
it's in Annapolis and online. So for
Oh,
any of you that
awesome.
are listening, that you're not in the Anne Arundel County area in Maryland, it's online and in person, so you can do either one. Now, how long with your first website? How long? So I know you said you launched it in August of 23. How long from the time you started working on it until you launched it do you think that it took you?
So that's an amazing question. How long did it take? It was probably, oh my gosh. I mean, it was maybe a month or something. And it was one of those, like, oh, you know that statement, launch the damn thing, just get it out, right? Get it out, get something out that says I exist, proof of concept. And was it where I wanted it to be? No, no, it wasn't. But I was kind of like at that point where I'm tired of monkeying with this and I
Mm,
just need to say, like, I exist at that point. And to be honest with you, I was also dancing between, I was launching. I didn't have any like actual booked business yet, but I had backdrops. I wanted to get those kind of, shot and on there somehow. And so here I am playing photographer, getting that done kind of a thing. So it was all happening at the same time. None of it was fun. None of it was easy, but I was just at the point where, okay, I'm my own worst critic. We are all our own worst critics. And things that
mm,
I notice are not the things that a, general person would notice, because I know that, whatever, like I'll look at my own work and go, farts, I missed a balloon in that spot. Like, whatever.
right.
That's why I always use like my camera instead of my eyes to look at things, kind of a thing. So yeah, it was probably a solid month of like just banging it out and, being like, here it is, world, take it or leave it.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
and I have yeah, a lot of the clients that I've worked with have had the same issue where it's just like, just launch it.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
get it
Yep.
out there,
Exactly.
get it out. You can and I worked with a print designer that was noodling over whether or not she was ready to launch, and I had to remind her, it's a website. Once you publish it, you can change
Yeah,
it. It's
right,
not like
exactly.
a print. Yeah,
Right.
you
That's
can
it.
publish it and then you can change it and
A
it's
million times.
live all of a sudden and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and also, I just wanna go back and say one thing. You just said something that made me like, whatever, is having the ability to go in and, like, I can go in and load photos into my gallery. I can go
Mhm,
in and tweak different things. I probably could do that with the assistance of some other platform or what have you, but I knew that I was gonna be obsessive about it at times and wanting to
mhm,
be able to have something that was semi-user friendly. So that's why too.
right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Valid, valid.
Yeah.
Now, did you run into any issues, tech issues, or any trouble when you were building your website? And if
Oh,
you
yeah.
did, where did you go?
Oh, yeah. I mean, where do I go? I don't know. I mean, I've utilized, Squarespace, you don't get a person. You don't
Mhm,
get Chrissy. You get, hi, this is whatever, Frank from Squarespace chat or what have you, who can like look at, and I will tell you that their customer service is good in that respect, but I am one of, whatever, 14 million people using their products. And the best help they can give me is a chat function. So there's no phone number. There's no like jump on a Zoom and let's like, work this out kind of a thing. So I
mhm,
have had to tap into there. Some of the things I've just been like, well, guess what? I'm just not going to do this now then. And, like I've wanted to, I think I had a really hard time getting my product page launched. And
mhm,
really that was just, like for people who wanted to order grab and go balloon garlands or stuff like seasonal Valentine's Day, football playoffs, things like that. And I was like, well, guess what, I'm missing the boat on that, so tough noogies, and I'll just figure it out later kind of a thing. So, and
right.
when you have that and it's tied into a financial component where you're accepting credit card payments, there's things that really kind of have to match up. So that could be a real deal breaker for somebody who is utilizing a website to actually sell 100% of their products, right? Mine
Mhm,
is more of a service offering. I need to show you that I exist for you and I to work together, for you to have faith and trust in me. But I don't have to put my grab and go balloon garlands on there, as a product page. But some people do.
right,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right, okay. Now, if you could do it all over again and you could do everything 100% right from the start, how would you do things differently, or would you do things
I
differently?
would. I would, because I'll tell you that the refresh that I just did, um I bought a great template, and I worked with somebody in like making it mine, the
Mhm,
creator of the template, and she was amazing. Um but if I could honestly, like the little person hovering above me would say, hey, guess what? Hindsight is 2020. Let's look a year and a half down the road. You probably spent more, and it's not necessarily the quote unquote check that you write, but it's the investment in my time. Like my time that I
mhm,
invested in my website development is the time that took away from me actually doing better marketing, or networking, or all those things. And so whatever, like if I have my designated like hourly, like I need to make X dollars of an hour, I probably lost, quote unquote, lost money in that by
mhm,
not just saying, hey, Chrissy, here's all my content, here's what I want to do with it, do it.
right,
you
right,
know so that's probably, like, if I had had that you know forward vision, out of the windshield instead of behind me in the rear view mirror, it that would have probably been a great thing for me to have just invested in. And then,
mhm,
maybe I would have had a native look and feel and whatever about it. I really like where my website is right now, but again, it's like a lost, at the cost of a lost opportunity kind of a thing.
mhm,
So yeah.
mhm. Okay. Yeah, that's something that I talk to either, well, both the done for you and the done with you and the
Yeah.
DIY
Yeah.
clients is if you're not paying for it with your money, you're paying for it with your time. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
which
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
gonna work better for you?
Right, exactly. So,
And
yeah.
and for a lot of my clients where I do it for them, they just would rather me do it and then they can do the stuff that they're good at.
Yep, exactly.
So it just
Yep.
makes
Yeah.
things a lot easier.
Well, I am like a little MacGyver, right? I am bubblegum, paperclip, and rubber band. Rubber bands are always on my wrist, but that's how I get that's how I get it done. Is just kind of like, what's the worst that can happen? But again, it's if I had dedicated the financial investment and just was able to get that off of my plate. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and one of them is by someone in the balloon industry, and she said, look, if I want to do something at 100%, but if I can pay somebody and they can get it at 80% to what I would do, like, that's a win and a win. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, that's what I need to do. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in a lot of cases, I'll do the building of the website, and
Right.
I let the clients worry about their content
Yes.
and all of that, because
Yes.
that's yes, I can do their content, but they're gonna know their stuff
Sure.
better.
Sure.
So I'd rather, yeah,
Absolutely. Yes.
rather they
Yep.
do that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So do you have anything else that you'd like to share about your process, your business, or your website, or anything else? Do you have any events coming up in the next few
Oh, I
months?
mean, I have like we're starting to kick off and get like really busy, and we'll like the spring, summer will be, chock full of proms and graduations and things like that. Um, I mean, it's definitely, in terms of your website, I can't say it enough that it's really kind of what legitimizes most, I would say, if not all companies, and to lean into that for before you like worry about your content creation on Instagram and TikTok and things like that. Yes, it's important, but um, it's still where people are going to go when, to make sure that you exist. They're just going to search on something random, and you're either going to pop up or you're not going to pop up.
Right.
But if I need to show a body of work to somebody, the fastest way I can do that is to send them to my website. I can give them an actual link, and they can go to the gallery and they can look at, oh, you want to look at all balloons? There you go. You want to look at all the backdrops? Go there. You want to look at some
Mhm.
of the other things we do? Here's your spot. Um, have a way for you to tie in a lead gen mechanism. So, have a spot on there for individuals to sign up for a newsletter, offer them, something 10% off, or give something away, or,
Mhm.
and have a great contact us form. That for me it was so funny because I literally was like flipping the website last night, and I was like, oh, it refreshed. Oh, no, it didn't refresh. But then it was so funny because my contact form is tied into my like CRM, and
Mhm.
it thankfully was still operational because a lead came in at the same time, and I was like, oh, thank God,
Nice.
so, and really, it's just trying to tie up all those like little loose ends, and the things that go on behind the scenes with the SEO can be makers or breakers. And I know that there are some things out there in mine right now that are breakers that I need to go back in and take care of. But again,
Mhm.
it's my list of 74 things.
Right.
So yeah. So I mean, it's really I'm super pumped about what I'm doing, and my it's always what industry isn't competitive. It's a competitive landscape, and
Mhm.
we kind of hang our hat on stellar customer service. We're not going to be the least expensive, and we're by far not going to be the most expensive, but we're going to be the ones that are like you can hear. And I've often heard people say, I can hear you smiling through the phone. So that's the impression that I want to make with people. And I always say my first goal is to listen and to problem solve. And it sounds like, why is it a problem? Well, someone's coming to me because they don't want to do all this stuff. So keep my ears open and come back. And, I always say if people want, polka dots, and I say, hey, stripes might look better here. But at the end of the day, if they want polka dots, they get polka dots. So
Mhm. Awesome.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So, well, again, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your experience with your website and getting your business online. I really appreciate it.
Mhm.
Thanks everybody for listening. If you are in need of backdrops, balloons, event design, reach out to Jen. It's wonderwallbackdrops.com, backdrops with an S.com. She is in the Annapolis, Baltimore, Maryland area. So if you're in this area, will you travel outside of the area
Oh
for?
yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think like we have clients in Delaware and all over the place. So PA. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
check her out. And again, thank you so much
Yeah.
for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This was fantastic.
Awesome, awesome. If you enjoyed this episode, and I'm sure you did, everybody loves these episodes, make sure you subscribe, leave a review, come back to the next episode, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Chrissy.